Good evening, and welcome back to Viva Sleep. Tonight, I'll be taking you through episode 2 of The Timeless Voyage. Episode 2 is titled The Shores of Atlantis. Let's begin. The first thing they notice is the sound of the ocean. It comes in long, slow breaths. The waves rolling forward, crashing against stone, then drawing back with a sigh that almost seems alive. The air is thick with salt and spray, cool droplets clinging to their skin. Marcus blinks against the mist, his eyes adjusting to the strange light. The sky is lavender, streaked with rose and fading gold. A twilight canvas stretched endlessly above the sea. Clouds move lazily, as though time itself has slowed to match the rhythm of the tide. Elena steps forward, her sandals brushing against the smooth marble beneath her feet. The stone is cracked in places, but polished by centuries of waves, a surface both ancient and alive. She runs a hand along the worn edges, feeling the grooves carved not by tools, but by water and wind. Before them rise the pillars, tall, broken, weather-beaten columns emerging from the sea like the bones of a great cathedral drowned by time. Their surfaces are rough with barnacles and moss, yet there is a dignity to them, as though they stand guard still, watching over what was lost. A gust of wind whistles through the stone, carrying the faint cry of seabirds overhead. Marcus tilts his head back, following their flight. Dark silhouettes circle high above, their wings cutting across lavender sky in slow arcs. Their calls echo strangely, almost mournful, as though they too remember what once stood here. Elena closes her eyes and listens. She hears more than waves and birds. She hears something beneath it. The hollow groan of stone shifting against stone, the deep thrum of water filling unseen caverns. It is a sound not unlike a heartbeat, steady, hidden beneath the surface. Marcus moves closer to the edge, his boots splashing in the shallow pools that gather between the rocks. Reflections shimmer there, fragments of sky twisted by rippling water. For a moment, he sees not his own reflection, but shapes that are not his. Figures in robes, walking tall among marble structures, voices laughing, singing, then fading like the foam that vanishes into sand. He blinks, and they are gone. Elena touches his arm lightly, grounding him. She too has felt it, the sense of presence of memory lingering here. Her gaze drifts past the pillars to where the mist parts briefly. There, half concealed by the haze, she sees something vast. A curve of stone, a gleam of metal, the faint outline of domes rising from the sea. Atlantis. The word comes to her, unbidden, as though whispered by the wind. She turns to Marcus, but he is already staring in the same direction, eyes wide, chest rising and falling with the slow breath of awe. Neither speaks, neither needs to, for in this place Silence is sacred. The ocean itself is the voice, carrying with it the weight of centuries of secrets, of stories waiting to be uncovered. And as the waves crash against the broken pillars, the ruins of Atlantis stir on the horizon, shimmering through the mist like a dream about to be remembered. The mist thins with the morning tide. As the light shifts, the ocean itself seems to awaken. The lavender glow of the sky softening into a pale blue that stretches endlessly towards the horizon. The waves grow calmer, their rhythm steady, as though the sea wishes to unveil what it has kept hidden. Marcus and Elena step forward, their eyes widening as the ruins of Atlantis come into view. First, the outlines of rooftops, great domes rising from the water, encrusted with coral and vine, their surfaces etched with spiraling patterns of bronze and green. The designs catch the light, gleaming like jewels half buried in the sea. The water around them is impossibly clear. From where they stand, Elena can see shoals of silver fish darting through the broken archways below, weaving in and out of sunken courtyards where mosaics glimmer faintly beneath the tide. She crouches, touching the surface with her fingertips, watching as ripples distort the underwater world, turning it into a shifting dream. Above, towers pierce the sky, some crumbling, their tips broken and swallowed by ivy, others standing proud, their marble faces glistening with dew. They are not plain structures, but works of art, each one carved with the symbols that echo the constellations overhead. 1,000 tiny stories etched into stone, now watched only by the sea and the sky. Marcus tilts his head back, marvelling at the scale. It's as if the stars themselves guided their builders, he whispered, his voice hushed in reverence. The air carries his words gently away, as though afraid to disturb the silence. They walk slowly among the shoreline, each step revealing more. Bridges arch gracefully between the domes, their spines covered in moss. Birds perch along the railings, their feathers damp from the sea air. Some take flight as Marcus and Elena pass, scattering into the dawn like fragments of memory. The city is not entirely silent. From somewhere deep in the ruins comes the faintest hum, resonance in the stones so low it is felt more than heard. Elena pauses, her brow furrowing. She lays a palm against one of the fallen walls. It vibrates slowly beneath her touch, like the echo of a voice too ancient to understand. The ocean answers. A swell of water rolls gently through the streets, surging around the base of the domes before retreating again, leaving trails of foam across marble steps that lead down into the depths. Sunlight catches the spray, scattering it into 1,000 diamonds that glitter and vanish in the air. For a moment, both stand in stillness, overcome not by fear, but by awe. This is not the ruin of a forgotten city. It is a cathedral of time, standing halfway between memory and dream. Elena exhales, the sound soft, reverent, Atlantis, she whispers, as though giving the place its name allows it to breathe again. Marcus nods slowly, unable to find words. He feels the weight of history pressing in around them, not crushing, but immense, like the sky itself. And as the morning sun climbs higher, illuminating domes, towers, and arches once thought lost forever, Marcus and Elena take their first true steps into the heart of Atlantis. The air cools as Marcus and Elena step into the shadow of an archway. The outside world, the sea, the gulls, the sigh of the waves, all fall away, replaced by a hush so profound it feels alive. They enter the hall. It rises before them like the nave of some sacred temple, vast and resonant, its ceiling lost in the darkness high above. Shafts of pale light pour down through fractures in the roof, catching the mist that lingers in the air. Each beam glitters as though laced with dust that is made of stars. The floor beneath them gleams with water. A thin sheet lies across the marble-like glass, reflecting pillars that soar upward in endless ranks. Elena's step creates ripples that spread outward, breaking the perfect reflection into shards of silver. The pillars themselves are carved in ways neither have ever seen. Not merely straight columns, but spirals of stone, wrapped with inlays of crystal that shimmer faintly in the light. Geometric patterns ripple across their surfaces. Not random designs, but constellations. Marcus tilts his head, recognizing Orion etched into one column, Lyra on another, the stars picked out in gemstones that still glow faintly after uncounted years. The hall hums. It begins as a vibration in their bones, a low tone that seems to come from the walls themselves. When Elena breathes, the sound deepens, resonating with her very chest. Marcus speaks her name softly, and his voice does not echo. Instead, it folds back into the hum, as though the hall itself has swallowed it whole and woven it into its song. They walk further in. Their footsteps, their breathing, even the soft rustle of their clothes all become part of the resonance. It is not silence that fills the hall, but music of a kind older than melody. Murals stretch along the walls, entire panels of polished stone that have been etched with scenes of Atlanteans at work. Men and women harnessing crystal energy, channels of light running like rivers through their hands, great spheres floating above platforms, strange vessels that hover over water without sails or oars. Each image is lit from within by veins of faint blue fire, pulsing gently as though the city itself still dreams. Elena pauses before one mural. It depicts a robed figure, holding what looks impossibly familiar, an hourglass, sand suspended within it, glowing with golden light. She raises her hand, tracing the outline with trembling fingers. Marcus steps closer, frowning. Neither speaks, but the meaning is clear. This city, this people, they too knew of the hourglass. The hall seems to breathe. The air grows heavier, cool mist curling around their feet. Droplets fall from the ceiling far above, splashing into the mirrored water with soft echoing notes. Each drop reverberates like a bell, ringing into the vastness. As they continue forward, the hum deepens, the light shifts, shadows lengthening, the blue veins in the walls brightening as though stirred by their presence. At the end of the hall, a set of doors stand half open, carved of stone so dark it absorbs the light. A cold draught seeps from within, carrying with it the scent of deep water, mineral, metallic, untouched for centuries. Marcus and Elena exchange a glance. They do not speak, for words feel small in this place. Together, they step through the doors and into the chamber beyond. The chamber is unlike anything they have yet seen. They step through the dark stone doors and immediately the air changes. It is colder here, so much so that Elena inhales sharply, her breath leaving a faint mist in the air. The sound of the ocean is gone, muffled entirely, replaced by a deep resonant silence, the kind of silence that feels as though it is listening. The floor drops away into a shallow basin, filled not with water, but with light. Dozens of luminous blue crystals hover above the ground, each one suspended in mid-air, turning slowly as though stirred by some unseen current. The glow reflects on the walls, carved with spirals, circles, endless rings that ripple outward from the center like the echo of a single drop of water in an infinite pool. At the chamber's heart, a stone platform rises. Concentric rings of metal, etched with runes, circle its base. The crystals orbit it in a slow, solemn path, their light spilling across the floor in rippling patterns, like sunlight filtered through deep water. Marcus takes a step forward, the sound of his footfall impossibly loud against the stillness. The crystals pulse in response, flaring brighter for a heartbeat, then dimming again. Elena gasps softly, clutching the hourglass at her side. Its golden sands glow faintly, as though stirred by kinship with this place. Then the air shifts. From the far side of the chamber, a ripple spreads, not in water, but in reality itself. The light bends, warps, and twists until a shape begins to form. At first, it is a little more than mist, curling upwards in spirals, gathering itself into a figure. Then the mist thickens, condenses, and takes on the hue of liquid silver. The air hums, vibrating in their bones, and with each vibration, the figure grows clearer. It is tall, taller than any person, its form both human and not. Its body is translucent, as though made of flowing water, but within that water patterns swirl, currents of light and shadow, shifting constantly like living currents. Its limbs are long, fluid, tapering into hands that end not in fingers, but in streams of light that dance and fade into the air. Where its face should be, there is a mask of shifting water, features half-formed, never settling. Eyes burn faintly within, not with fire, but with a light like the heart of the ocean, deep and unknowable. The guardian breathes, and the entire chamber seems to exhale with it. Mist curls outward, rising in pale tendrils that wrap around the hovering crystals. The water-light figure tilts its head, regarding Marcus and Elena with a silence that presses down heavier than words. Marcus feels his knees weaken, though not from fear. It is reverence, the weight of standing before something that should not exist, yet does. Elena swallows hard, her grip tightening on the hourglass. For a moment she feels it pulse against her palm, as though it too acknowledges this being. The guardian speaks. Its voice is not a single tone, but a chorus, layered and resonant, like the roll of distant thunder, combined with the rush of waves against cliffs. The sound does not echo in the chamber, it fills it, vibrating through the walls, the floor, their very bones. You walk among the remnants of what should not be disturbed. The words arrive not through the ears, but through the mind, threading into thought like a current carrying them along. Elena's breath catches in her throat, while Marcus lowers his head instinctively, as though before a king. The figure raises one arm, a stream of liquid light, and the crystals flare in response. The entire chamber glows, runes igniting along the concentric rings of the platform, their light racing outward like fire across oil. You stand in the echo of Atlantis. It is not ruin, nor memory, but warning. The guardian's form ripples, its outline breaking into streams of light before reforming. Around its feet, the mist swirls faster, lifting in spirals that brush against Marcus's skin like cold breath. He shudders, glancing to Elena. Her eyes are wide, but not with terror, but with awe. There is sorrow in her expression too, as though she can already sense the weight of what is being told to them. The guardian lowers its arm, the light dimming slightly, though its gaze, those deep oceanic eyes, never leave them. The hourglass you bear is not chance. It is tethered, it is watched, and it will lead you where you are meant to go, whether you will it or not. Elena stiffens, her grip tightening again on the hourglass. She opens her mouth, but no words come. Marcus lays a hand on her shoulder, grounding her, though his own breath is unsteady. The guardian's form shifts once more, the silver currents within it quickening, swirling faster as though agitated. The water beneath their feet, the reflection of light across the floor, begins to ripple outward, like concentric waves spreading from the guardian's presence. And then, without warning, its voice deepens, filling every space of the chamber, shaking the very stones. Remember, Atlantis was never meant to rise again. The crystals flare once more, blinding in their brilliance. The mist erupts, spiraling upward to the ceiling. The Guardian's form unravels into light, streams of liquid silver dispersing into the chamber until nothing remains but the sound of their own breathing, ragged and fragile in the silence. Marcus and Elena stand frozen, caught between awe and fear, their eyes locked upon the empty air where the Guardian had been. The chamber hums still. The crystals spin slowly in the air, pulsing like the beat of some vast, unseen heart. Elena's voice is barely more than a whisper. What are we meant to witness? But the hall gives no answer, only the sound of her words dissolving into the silence. Beyond the Guardian's chamber, another doorway awaits. An arch carved with rings within rings, their edges gleaming faintly as though touched by starlight. Marcus and Elena step cautiously, their footsteps echoing into silence, and emerge into a space that takes their breath away. The crystal chamber. It opens wide and circular, its walls curving smoothly upward into a dome, so vast it feels almost planetary. The air hums here too, but different. Not the deep resonance of the hall, but a sharper, more crystalline vibration, like the sound of glass when a finger runs along its edge. Suspended in the air are hundreds of blue crystals, each the size of a clenched fist. They turn slowly, orbiting invisible paths, weaving around one another in a slow, graceful dance. Their light is cool, pure, casting rippling reflections across the polished stone floor below. At the chamber's heart, a raised platform rises in concentric rings of metal and stone. Each ring is etched with lines, delicate channels that glow faintly as though filled with liquid light. The design is geometric, precise, mathematical in its perfection. Elena steps closer, her eyes wide with awe. It's like a machine, she whispers. It's like a machine, she whispered, though the word feels too modern for what she sees. She kneels at the platform's edge, tracing a fingertip along one of the glowing channels. The light pulses beneath her touch, a ripple of energy racing out beneath the rings. Marcus crouches beside her, studying the structure. Not just a machine, he murmurs, a source, a heart. And as if to answer him, the crystals above flare brighter. The light cascades across the chamber, refracting into beams that strike the walls. The spiraling patterns etched there come alive, glowing blue, then white, then gold, as if the room itself is awakening. The air thickens, pressing against their skin. The hum grows louder, vibrating through their bones, rattling their teeth. Elena clutches the hourglass instinctively. Its sands swirl widely, glowing with fierce intensity. A strange calm settles over Marcus. He tilts his head, watching the crystals spin faster, their dance accelerating, the beams of light crossing and weaving into a lattice of energy. He realizes with a chill that it is not random. The entire pattern forms the shape of an hourglass, immense, radiant, hovering around them in light and shadow. The chamber trembles. Dust falls from the dome above. The floor shudders as though beneath their weight lies a slumbering giant now stirring. Elena staggers back, her eyes wide. "It's too much," she breathes. "Whatever power this is, it's breaking the city apart." The light intensifies, blinding, filling every crack, every carving, every line of the room. The hourglass in her hands vibrates violently, its glow answering the crystals as if they were one and the same. Then, from the far end of the chamber, a deep crack sounds, stone splitting, water rushing, the world groaning under strain. And outside, unseen beyond the chamber walls, the sky begins to boil. Clouds gather, heavy and black, pulled together as though drawn by the energy within this room. Lightning crackles at the horizon, distant at first, then closer, brighter, sharper. The storm is coming. The chamber quakes around them. Crystals shatter their calm orbits, flaring brighter with every pulse, spinning faster until their light blurs into ribbons across the air. The floor trembles, the concentric rings glowing white hot, lines of energy racing like lightning across the stone. Elena clutches the hourglass to her chest. Its golden sands whip violently inside, rising and falling, as though caught in a storm of their own. Marcus shields his eyes against the brilliance, his breath shallow, his pulse hammering to match the hum that had grown into a roar. And then a sound splits the air, not from the chamber itself, but from beyond. A crack, a boom, thunder rolling so deep it feels as though the ocean itself has struck the sky. They stagger to the doorway, drawn as if by instinct. The hall behind them is alive with vibrating light, and through the arch they see the city of Atlantis once more, but no longer calm, no longer still. The sky has turned black. Clouds churn in furious spirals, pulling toward a center directly above the city. Forks of lightning split the heavens, jagged white streaks that illuminate the domes and towers in stark, terrifying flashes. Each strike is deafening, the sound chasing itself again and again across the horizon. Rain lashes down in sheets, hammering marble, breaking against the ruined columns outside. The once clear water is churned into a frothing, boiling mass, waves crashing over mosaics, tearing at the stone foundations. Elena grips Marcus's arm, her voice trembling. This isn't natural. And she is right, for as they stare, they see it, the truth hidden within the storm. The lightning does not strike at random. Each bolt bends, twists, and falls into a pattern, converging into the shape of an hourglass. Two vast funnels of light, one descending from the heavens, the other rising from the ocean, meeting in the middle above Atlantis. Every strike adds to its form, a cosmic sandglass suspended in the sky, alive with blinding fire. The hourglass in Elena's hand burns hot, golden light spilling through her fingers as though answering its twin above. She gasps, nearly dropping it, but Marcus steadies her. Though he feels the pull, the vibration so strong it feels like the world is being unmade. The Guardian's words echo in their mind, though the form is gone. It is tethered, it is watched, it will lead you where you are meant to go. Marcus looks up, rain streaming down his face, eyes wide at the impossible shape glowing in the sky. The Guardian, he mutters, the storm. It came from summoning the Guardian. Elena shakes her head, her voice almost lost in the thunder. No, it's more than that. The energy required it tore the heavens apart. The sky itself is answering. The storm surges again, lightning striking closer, brighter and louder. The air is electric, sharp and burning against their skin. Wind tears at their clothes, their hair, pulling them towards the light. And then, the hourglass above, the hourglass of lightning, begins to tilt. Golden fire spills downwards, streams of sand-like energy pouring into the streets of Atlantis. Towers crumble, shattered by the force. Bridges break apart. The ocean swells higher, surging into the city with a roar that drowns even the thunder. Marcus and Elena cling to each other, their bodies trembling, their hearts racing with awe and fear. The hourglass in Elena's arms pulses wildly, spilling light that mingles with the storm as though both are one. The Guardian had warned them. Atlantis was not ruin nor memory, but warning. And now they stand in the very heart of that warning, as the city is torn apart by the forces that had once raised it to greatness. The sky howls, the lightning hourglass blazes, and in its burning glow, Marcus and Elena are lifted, their vision fracturing into shards of light and shadow. The world bends, folds, dissolves, and time itself tears open once more. The storm is everywhere. Lightning crashes in blinding arcs. Waves swallow the ruins, and the sky itself groans with fury. Marcus and Elena cling to each other as the city collapses beneath them. Every instinct screams for escape, for safety, for home. Elena presses the hourglass tight against her chest, her voice raw, barely audible over the thunder. I can't wait to be back, to be safe again. Marcus nods, rain streaming down his face, his voice fierce with the same desperate hope. Back to the workshop, back to where it all began, anywhere but here. The hourglass responds. Its sands flare with golden light, rushing faster and faster, cascading in a torrent as if answering their plea. The glow spills from the glass, painting their faces, mixing with the lightning until storm and relic become indistinguishable. The world begins to fold. The wind bends around them. The thunder blurs into silence, and for a moment they feel themselves being lifted away, carried upward through a tunnel of light. Relief washes through them, dizzying, fragile. Marcus dares to laugh, broken and breathless. "It's taking us home," he says. "We're finally going home." But the light does not settle into candle glow. The air does not smell of parchment or ink. Instead, it grows hot, dry, searing against their skin. The glow fades, and they are standing on sand. Golden grains stretch outward in every direction, rolling in endless dunes beneath a twilight sky of violet and amber. The storm is gone, the ocean has gone, the city has gone. Only the desert remains, vast, empty, eternal. Elena staggers, nearly dropping the hourglass. She stares down at it, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps. Its sands still flow, slower now, glowing faintly, the sound of each grain sliding downward impossibly loud in the silence. A soft hiss, a crystalline ping as they strike the glass, like whispers from within. She shakes her head, her voice breaking. "No, this isn't home. It was meant to take us home." Marcus turns slowly, his gaze locking on the horizon, and his stomach tightens. Against the dying sun, black silhouettes rise from the desert floor, sharp angles, ancient, unmistakable. Pyramids. His throat works, but his voice is barely more than a rasp. "Egypt. We're back in Egypt." Elena clutches the hourglass, staring as though it might explain itself. Its glow is steady now, deliberate, like an eye watching them. She whispers, trembling, "Why here? Why again?" The desert wind stirs, curling around their legs, carrying with it a faint hiss like sand falling through glass. The sound is almost a voice, low, patient, unyielding. Marcus tears his eyes from the pyramids and looks at Elena. His expression is pale, shaken. "We weren't meant to go home." He swallows hard, the words heavy as stone. "It brought us here for a reason." The hourglass shifts in her hands, light catching the grains as they slide downward in slow, deliberate rhythm. There is no comfort in his glow now, only certainty. They stand together in silence, surrounded by endless dunes, the pyramids watching from afar, the hourglass pulsing faintly between them like a secret they yet cannot understand. And in the stillness of that twilight, the truth settles cold in their bones. They are no longer travelers. They are being led. Thank you for joining me this evening. I will speak to you again in episode 3. Good night.